So we're back again. It's Derek with Colorado Camper Van. We're going to do a video on how to get your top down in case of an emergency, in case all the electrical fails and you cannot get anything to work. There's a way to physically lower the top, latch it, and drive it to somewhere to get it fixed and get it into town. So I have this top. It's only about halfway up, if that, right now. And the reason I did that is to demonstrate if an actuator was to fail on one of these, it's usually going to fail down here where this hardware is pushing really flat. If I come all the way down, that's where it's under the most strain. So if a motor was to fail, it's going to fail at the top, coming up the first 5 or 6 inches. Once it gets up further to the top, then the leverage gets in favor of the motor. It's easier lifting, and it's not going to overheat or burn a motor up at that point. So if a top is all the way up and you camp in it and you get ready to go home and you go hit the button and the top won't go down, the chances of it being a motor burning out is 0. It just does not happen that way. So if it's all the way up, most likely you either have a dead battery, you have an electrical issue, a blown fuse, or somebody ripped the wires loose in the back, or something physically got messed with for it to happen. So I'll go over that after we go over how to physically get this down. So now we'll show you how to take it down. Like I said, most likely it's going to be lower, it's going to be easy to reach the top, it's not going to be all the way up. And then with 2 people you can get this top down, latch latches, and take it to town to get it fixed. Okay, so to get the top down in case of emergency, we already straightened this cotter pin out. It'll be bent around on both sides. We straightened out for the video, pull the cotter pin, pull the washers out, get somebody to pick up on the end that you're doing. In this case, we're doing the front of it. And then that pin will come out of there. It might be tight and you might have to tap it out with a screwdriver or something like that. But he pulled that pin out, and then now I would just simply bring this top down. And if the back's still working, we would lower the back down, latch the latches, and you could drive it. If the back is not working, then you have to do the same process with the rear. You have to lift it up, whether it's from the inside or the outside, have somebody push the pin out, lower it down, latch your 2 front latches, and you're on your way. We're back again, and this video is about how to get a top down in case of emergency and it's not working for some reason. And I'm going to go through the things that you would troubleshoot first, and then what you would do as a last resort to get it down. So there is a way that's pretty easy to get it down with minimal tools like a pair of pliers and a hammer, and you can basically tap the pin out and you're able to lower the top down, latch it, and get it somewhere to get it fixed. The first thing is, if the top won't go up and it won't go down, it's just stuck, it's not doing anything, the first thing you want to do is you're going to look at these fuses. And these fuse panels are designed so that if a fuse breaks, the LED lights light up bright red. So just at first glance, you should be able to know if you have a blown fuse. Even looking through this lens, you'll see the bright red light right there. So if you have a blown fuse, obviously replace the fuse, see if the top works. If the fuse doesn't fix it, the remote control is obviously battery powered. It could have a dead battery. It has a little red LED light on the remote too. If that's not coming on when you push the button, that would cause it. Or if the battery is just low and it still comes on, it might still not work. So then you use your backup switch that's mounted on the trim on the inside, the black up and down switch. So you tried both switches, you checked all your fuses, your top still doesn't go up or down. What's next? This is the relay box for the top. These are the 2 this is the remote control box for the top. These are the 2 relays that control the up and down. I've never seen them go out, so that going out is pretty much not an issue. But if for some reason you figured out it did, they unplug and you just replace the relays. The top, when it's going up, it's under the most strain for the first few inches of going up. So if for some reason it was going to burn something up, it would be most likely because somebody tried to raise it with the latches latch. That would do it, and that's about it. So it would stop the first few inches of going up. If the top went all the way to the top and you camped for the night or a week or whatever, and you went to lower the top to come back down and it won't come down, the motors didn't burn up. It's impossible for the motors to burn up just sitting there. So if the top is all the way up and it's stuck and it won't come back down, you need to come check your fuses, you need to check your remote, you need to check your switch and make sure that all that stuff is working. If it's not working, you need to know if your battery is charged. If your house battery is charged, if you have a house battery, if it's not, is your start battery charged? The easiest way to check that with no tools is start the van up. As soon as you start the van up, obviously if you don't have a house battery, that's going to tell you that, hey, you have a good start battery, so you should be getting power to here. If you have a house battery, you need to let it idle for about 5 to 10 minutes and connect up and start charging off the alternator. Then try to bring your bring your top down, because at that point, now you know you should have power to here because you're connected and the van's running and everything should be charging, and then the top should come down. At that point, your lights should be working, your fan, if you have it, should be working. So if lights are not working, fan's not working, any other electrical stuff's not working, you have a battery issue and it has nothing to do with your top. So then that's a whole different thing. In a minute, we're going to show a video on how to physically get the top down if all else failed, the motor's burnt up, power's dead, you can't get power to it. Another last resort you could do is if your top was up and your start battery happens to work, but your house battery won't charge, whatever the case may be, you could take a set of jumper cables and go to the ground right here with your black one, the red one up top to your red jumper cable, and hook those right to either your own car battery or another car battery. Power this unit up and get your top down. So if you have a different issue, you can power this unit up, get your top down, and go get everything fixed and figure out what the problem is.